Hi, I hope you're doing fantastic. Today we're going to be talking about how to use sidechain compression effectively, and it's not going to be on our kick and our bass. Hi, my name is Tyson. I'm a mastering engineer here at Dinosaur Dog Mastering, and today we're going to be looking at sidechain compression, how to use it more creatively and effectively than just on your kick and bass. Before we dive into that though, I want to let you know I have a free ultimate mixing checklist to help you get better, faster mixes available for free for download. You can download that in the first link in the description of this video. Okay, with that said, let's dive straight in on how to use sidechain compression. All right, so today, as I already mentioned, we're going to be diving into how to really just make things really gel in the last chorus and how we can creatively use our sidechain in ways other than just our kick and bass. We have this last chorus, it's really big, and we have a lead vocal that is there, but we also have a lot of other competing lead elements, such as the other vocals in here, as well as the synth that we're really concerned about here. And so I'm just gonna play it for you and pay attention to mostly this synth right here. Here, I'll play a little section for you. Okay, that one, and then the lead vocal. Those are the two main elements that I'm concerned about because they're kind of clashing a little bit here in this last chorus. So I'm just gonna play it for you so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on, and then we're gonna dive into actually how we're gonna use our sidechain compression to help this issue out. So we're kind of in this weird place where the synth is buried enough that it doesn't really shine when the vocal isn't singing, but then it's kind of in the way when the vocal is singing. And so that's exactly the type of situation that we look out for a sidechain compression in this aspect, because it will de-emphasize it when the vocal is in, but then emphasize it when the vocal is not singing, so that we can automate this in a way that I don't have to actually go in and, adjust every single little volume here every single time the vocal comes in. It's much more dynamic, which is exactly what we want. And also the case that sidechain compression is actually the right tool to use. Most of the time with kick and bass, I see it used incorrectly because people are just trying to use sidechain compression to avoid actually EQing those elements correctly. In this case, I think there's plenty of sonic separation, but I just really want to overemphasize or de-emphasize this synth whenever that vocal is or is not singing. Let's dive into actually how to set up our sidechain compression. So what we're going to do is add a compressor to this sawtooth synth, and I'm going to use the Studio FET. This is an 1176 emulation. So it has a little bit more color, which is why I want to use this one. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the distortion to soft. And that is just going to add some more character and saturation to this track. I feel like it's a little bit too digital. And so I wanted to add a little bit of warmth to it, as well as emphasize just the volume. Now, if we just have this here and we're not going to actually add any compression, we can tell the difference between with this or without this particular compression. So here's without the compression, then I'll add it here in just a second. So we can tell there's just an obvious increase of volume, which is exactly what I want. So when it's not compressing anything, I want that additional volume out of this track. With that, now let's set up our sidechain with our lead vocal. So our lead vocal that we're concerned about, scroll down to it, is right here, this Vox 2 lead chorus, okay? And that's important because when we're setting up our sidechain, open up our compressor, our sidechain function is up here. So we want to set it up to audio because we don't want to take the entire vocal bus. There's a lot of other background kind of lead vocal elements that are happening. I don't want to use those. I just want to use that one lead vocal track. And if I scroll down here, I can find my Vox 2 lead chorus, audio 12. And that is exactly what I'm going to set up as my sidechain. In essence, all this is doing, if you're not familiar with sidechain compression, is that now this compressor is going to be decreasing the volume of my synth, of my sawtooth synth. However, the trigger, or what it's going to be listening to, is actually the lead vocal. So whenever the lead vocal comes in, it's going to decrease the volume of my Sawtooth synth. Now let's start dialing this in. I think I want about between 3 and 5 decibels of gain reduction. That's generally a pretty good benchmark because that's going to be decreasing my energy of my Sawtooth synth by basically 100%. So it's going to be 25% quieter or 100% less energy when the vocal is in. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a very fast attack, relatively fast release. This is probably fine, 50 milliseconds. I want this Sawtooth to really fill in those gaps whenever the vocal is not in and not singing. I don't want there to be like this weird kind of gap in between. So if I used a really long release, there's going to be kind of this odd gap before this synth actually comes back in. So I don't want to do that. I want to do pretty fast so it comes in right when that vocal ends, those vocal lines. Okay, now let's play it and dial this in. Oh, let's get the rest. Okay, so now we could feel that really just ducking down whenever that lead vocal is in, filling in those little gaps where the vocal is not singing, and then at the end it really shines with that additional gain that we added to it. So that is how you would set up your sidechain compression. Let me do a quick before and after for you so you can hear the change that we made. We'll start with it off, and then I'll add it about halfway through this chorus. Okay, so other applications that you could really use this technique is often with a lead guitar. If there's a lead guitar line in the last chorus, it's often another place that I would look to try to add some dynamic variation between the lead vocal and the lead guitar, because it's really helpful to fill those gaps with something between those lead vocal lines, especially if the vocal like this, where the vocal isn't singing 100% of the chorus. So always nice to be able to fill in those gaps with some other elements, some energy, and this is a great and easy way to be able to do that inside of your tracks. All right, so I hope this was super helpful, and if it was, then make sure you subscribe and also like the video, because that helps a ton, and also you'll be notified of any videos that come out as I release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to help you get more professional mixes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.